Hello, hello, everyone. Trying to see if I can find myself. I'm not sure how to find myself on this, on my iPad anymore. See if I go to my page, maybe. Hello. Hi, you guys. My porch peeps. I'm trying to find myself over here on my page, so just gonna kind of give people a moment to see if anyone else joins us. Here we go. Hi, Angela. How are you? So we're just kind of waiting. I wanted to wait and see if we could get a couple of other people to join us, and then we will get started. So I found myself on the other on my other device here, so maybe I can keep up with any questions or anything that anyone might have tonight. So we'll just kind of give it another second. We'll kind of see if any more people jump on. It's Wednesday, so for those of us who work full-time jobs, it's hump day, thankfully. It's only Wednesday, but it seems like it's been a long week to me. So, hello, hello. Welcome, porch peeps. Welcome, welcome. I was just saying that I'm glad today is Wednesday. I'm glad it's hump day, because even though it's only been 3 days into the week, I feel like this week has gone on for 2 weeks. So anyway, you guys, welcome. Hello. Hi, sister. How are you? So my name is Cassandra. I am with Pecan Porch Boutique. Thank you guys for joining me for Trainwreck Wednesday. You guys know how that goes. So our project tonight kind of has a few layers to it. So we're going to be working on this little table here. And full disclosure, you guys, this table is not real wood. It's probably, you know, some type of, I don't know, it's not wood. But it had a really pretty, you know, curve to it. It had really tall, long legs. And I like things that have a good shape. So I thought, you know, it's not real wood, but we're going to go ahead and give it a chance. So, so we're going to be working on this tonight. And the plan is, and again, you guys know, this is Trainwreck Wednesday, so anything can happen, but there is always a plan. The plan is to kind of give this little piece a kind of a botanical look with some flowers made out of molds and some decoupage paper and maybe even some transfers, a few of the iron orchid transfers here. So that's the plan. Again, this is Trainwreck Wednesday and anything can happen. Okay, so again, my name is Cassandra. I'm with Pecan Porch Boutique. Thank you guys for joining me on Trainwreck Wednesday. We're going to be working on this little table here. And so let me just kind of go over some of the things that we're going to be using. Tonight, I think I'm going to try to get some decoupage done with some of these beautiful papers from Roycycle Treasures. I'm going to be using this one on the top. Can you guys see this? See if I can get it so that it doesn't. This particular paper is called Queen Bee. It is a decoupage tissue paper. It's 20 by 30 and it's an 18-pound paper. So my goal for this one is to put it here on top of the dresser. And we're going to use the iron-on method to put that on. So there's a couple methods you can use for decoupage, and iron-on is one of them. So that's the plan for the top of the dresser. We're going to use some of these, let's go back here, these decor molds from IOD, or Iron Orchid Design. This one is called Heirloom Roses. And then this one, and y'all see that stuff falling off, that's clay. And this one is called Trimmings 1. Can you guys see that? There's a bunch of different binds. So this is called Trimmings 1, and then Heirloom Roses. So we're gonna use some of those, and I've already used some, and I'll show you where that is. And then we're gonna use this IOD, or IOD stands for Iron Orchid Design. We're gonna use some clay to make the molds with. Let's see, what else? And then again, like I said, I think I'm gonna use some of the transfers from this Iron Orchid Design Painterly Florals transfer. And I think that's gonna be it. So, you guys, and again, any of these products that you see me working with tonight can be found on my website at pecanporchboutique.com. But also, you guys, if you know someone that might be interested in you know, this live that we're doing tonight, please chug the love, okay? And you know, and send it on over there to them so that they can join us. One of the things I want to get to is I want to do a giveaway. So if we can get to, we're going to start out slow. So if we can get to 50 watchers, I am going to do a giveaway of something that we've used tonight. So I'll pull a name and do a drawing for a giveaway. So please chug the love, and we'll do a giveaway of some of the, you know, some lucky person will get something that we're using tonight. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do, you guys, we're gonna start off with this decoupage because, so for this dresser, what I've done is I have given this dresser 2 coats of crinoline, DIY. It's DIY crinoline, and it's kind of a, can you guys see that? It's kind of a creamy color, kind of a light cream. So that's what I've done. The dresser was already white, but you know, it was just that factory white, kind of looked like you know, just like it was primed white. So I gave it a couple coats of crinoline. I didn't want it really stark white, but I wanted to kind of have a cream color, because when you're using decoupage sheets, you kind of want to have your background a lighter color so that your decoupage of whatever's on your decoupage sheet will stand out better. You can use a dark background if you want, and I do sometimes use a dark background. So so yeah, but you know, but if you want your color, or you want your decoupage image to kind of stand out, then you want to use a lighter color. So we're going to go ahead and get that process started. The first thing I'm going to do for to kind of prep for the decoupage, again, I've already painted using the crinoline, and I've given it 2 coats. And what we're going to do next, and you guys may not see me, you'll hear me talking, but you probably won't see me because I'm going to have to stand up to do this. We're going to give it a coat of polyacrylic sealer to put on top of it, so that we can get ready for our iron-on process. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do. And then while that's drying, we're going to jump in and I'm going to show you guys how to do some molds. All right. So I'm going to use my my FIFO bottle here. It has some polyacrylic matte water-based sealer in it. And I'm just going to use this little cup that I got from the dollar store to put it in. Then I'm going to use my my Paint Pixie brush, and y'all look at this brush. It's horrendous. You can tell it's been well used, well loved. This is my Believe 12 from Paint Pixie. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this sealer. I'm just going to apply it to the top of the dresser. No really big deal. Just the only thing about polyacrylic is that you want to make sure that you're putting on thin, even coats, and that you don't let it sit in places without brushing it in, because it will stack up, and you know, it'll make a thick coat And that's not what you want. You just want thin, even coats. And there's a piece of my brush. These brushes are great, you guys, but they're natural bristle, and so sometimes some of the bristles will come off. That's easy rectified. You'll just, you know, just pick them off. Grab a little bit more polyacrylic, and I'm just going to keep brushing this on. And another thing about this this little dresser, it did have a mirror, and but one of the little arms that held the mirror that fit right back here was broken. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I will also make the mirror pretty, but it will be, you know, one that will hang over the dresser instead of sitting on it like it used to. And I think that'll be okay. I'm not really into fixing stuff, whereas I would love to be a power tool guru. I'm not. So we've got one coat of polyacrylic on the top now. And we're gonna let that sit and dry. And while we wait for that to dry, we're going to move on and we're going to talk about molds. Uh-oh. See what I said about catching it? See these drips? Can you guys see these drips right here? I'm not sure if you can get it, but see it, but I didn't catch those. So you want to make sure you catch those before they dry up. Any drips that you see. Okay, so now while that's drying, we're going to talk a little bit about molds. So I'm going to move my table and hopefully you guys can see. And y'all, let me tell y'all, this whole camera setup thing, it's just got me like completely baffled. So I have my camera set up tonight. Usually I use my tripod, but I have it set up tonight inside my ring light. So I'm hoping it doesn't fall out or something like that, because I don't know, I rigged it somehow. But anyway, so can you guys see like right down here where I put these molds on? So what I did was I took some clay and I decided to use this particular mold right here. Can you guys see that one? It's like a vine or a leaf right here. That's the one that I used. And then I used some of the molds from this Heirloom Roses mold. I think I used one of these, and then I used one of these little buds right here. So this mold and that stuff that's falling off, y'all, is dried clay. So this mold is full of really cute little flowers and leaves. Can you guys see that? And one thing too I wanted to tell y'all, you can actually use these molds to make decorative things for your pies. So you can, hey Vicky, how are you? You can make, like, let's just say you want to decorate a pie. You could put your what is it? See, I don't even cook. I don't even know. You can put your crust in here and make little things for your pies and your cakes. So these molds can be used for making decorative baking little things for your pies or cakes or whatever. Now, of course, you don't want to use, if you start using them for clay, you don't want to use them for your baking mold. So use one or the other. So, but for me, since I don't cook, I'm using them with clay. So, and again, we're going to be using this this clay. Oh, let me move my table back over here now. But can you guys see this actually right here? I'm not sure if you can see this or not. Let me see if I can lift it up. Right here where I've already made some of these molds, I've used the vine and I've used a couple of roses and a bud already here. And I'm just gonna do another one so you guys can see how I did this, and I'm gonna kind of go up the leg here. So let me put my table back over here. And another thing, so again, this dresser had a mirror, and it had these two little arms that set up here, and the mirror hung between the arms, but one of the arms was broken. So so I just took them off, and what I'm going to do is so those little holes where it goes are still there, but I'm going to actually take these little dowels, and I'm just going to, once I get it all decoupaged, I'm going to put these on there where those holes are, and just, you know, kind of paint over them and make them cute so that the holes won't be there underneath the decoupage. Okay, so what I'm going to be using tonight, you guys, is Iron Orchid Design, or IOD. This is their air dry clay. And so I'm going to be using this clay to actually cast these molds for the legs here. So, and this clay is, when you get it, it's really soft, it's really wet, kind of wet and pliable. Not really wet, but it's kind of wet and pliable. So once you open it, you want to make sure that you put it back into a plastic bag and seal it up so that it doesn't dry. Again, it's air dry clay, so it will dry in the air. Okay, so, and another thing, I went and I got this baking powder. And again, it's not to bake, y'all. I'm pretty sure my significant other would much rather me be baking with this stuff. But no, I'm not. I'm crafting with it. So I'm going to take this baking powder, and I am going to take this little makeup brush. So see, y'all, I could be baking and be cute at the same time. But what am I doing? I'm crafting with this stuff. So anyway, I'm going to take just a little bit of this baking powder on this brush. I'm going to have stuff everywhere. I'm going to be cleaning up all week. And I'm going to, again, I'm going to use this one right here. And so I'm just going to dust it a little with some of this baking powder. And what that does is it helps the mold to release once I get the clay in there. And you don't really need this much. This is overkill. But just a little dusting. And then we're going to take some of our clay. And how much clay to get is always, you know. You might get enough, you may not, you may get too much. It's just kind of it's a crapshoot. And then again, I'm going to take this now, I'm going to drop it back into my bag. And I make sure that I close it up, because even just for a few minutes, you know, sitting out here in the air, it will start to dry up, and you don't want that. So I'm take my clay, and again, it's really soft right now, and it's really pliable. And so I'm just going to roll it, kind of make a little, it's kind of like silly putty for grown folk. Y'all remember silly putty, or am I dating myself? Then I'm just going to put it, can you guys see what I'm doing? Let me move this. So I'm going to put it here in my, inside my mold. And then I'm just going to begin to press it in. With my finger, just pressing it in, capturing all the little details. And these molds actually have like a micro rim. And so you want to make sure that your clay gets all the way up to that micro rim, so you can capture all of that detail. So you guys can see that. So let me see, go back a little. So I have it in there, in the one I want. I just press it in. And I'm trying not to push too hard on this table, because this is one of those little TV trays, like from the 70s. And I don't want it to collapse, so I'm trying not to push too hard. But you get the gist. Just push it in with your fingers. And then what I do is I take you know, something like a card, or you can do it with your fingers. But I'm just going to use this old credit card here. And I'm going to, can you guys see? I'm just going to take it, this credit card, I'm just going to run it along the top of the clay. Like that. And it's just, and what that does is it just smooths it down. And actually helps to push it into all those little rims. So now here we go. So we got the clay in there. You guys can see that it's flat, nice and smooth, kind of nice and smooth. And so now we just want to take it out. So and that's where that baking powder comes in handy. So hopefully this will release pretty easy for us. And so basically I'm just going to peel back my mold. And a lot of people just kind of, I'm trying to turn it so you guys can see it. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Just kind of peel it out and let it kind of fall out to itself. And hopefully you can get it all the way out. There we go. Okay. So can you guys see this? Let's see if I can move back a little. See all of that good detail? Wait, let me hold it up again. Can you guys see all of that detail on there? Try to come up closer. Can you guys see that? All of that really good detail. So that's what you get with these molds. I mean, they are so detailed. So you get all this detail with your clay. So now, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna turn it over, and you don't have to be like overly gentle with it, but you want to make sure that you don't smush out any of the details. So I'm just gonna lightly turn it over here. I'm gonna take my glue, and I'm using Eileen's tacky glue. And I'm just gonna take my glue, get it down to the edge, and then I'm gonna put the glue. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Just gonna put the glue on here. You want to make sure you get enough glue, but not, you don't want to have glue going everywhere. But you want to make sure you get enough glue. And remember, y'all, if we can get up to 50 people watching us, I'm going to do a giveaway. So make sure you chug the love on over to someone who might enjoy this video. Okay? So we got the glue on here. So now I'm just going to take my fingers, and I'm just going to make sure that I kind of try to get it into every one, every little spot on this mold. This is the time, y'all, when you can really enjoy being a kid. Remember when we were kids and we used to do stuff like this? We used to think it was so fun, like to get glue on your hands and then peel it off. So because this particular vine has a lot of little leafy things that kind of branch off to the side, I'm trying to make sure that I get glue off to each one of those, because I want to get a good grip when I put this on the leg of my table. Can you guys see? Okay, so I'm almost to the end. It's much easier to get the glue where you want it to go while you have it in your hands, rather than trying to, rather than putting it on and then realizing, oh, I didn't put glue right there, and then trying to peel it back up and put glue on it. Okay, so I got glue all on the back. Try to get some of it off my hands. And then, so now what we're going to do is move my table out of the way. So I'm going to take it and we're going to add it to the one that we already did right down here. Except I want to, this time, I'm going to start from the back and I want to bring it around to the front. So I'm going to start right here. Can you guys see me down here? Hopefully you can. I'm just going to match it up to the one I already have down here. Just kind of wrap it around. Holding it as much as I can. There we go. So it may slide around a little, you guys, because, you know, I'm not working on a surface that's flat. So the surface, because it's standing up and I have wet glue on it, you know, the tendency is for it to slide around. So I'm just going to really lightly push down my little limbs, my little leaves here. Push some things together without smushing it. I don't want to smush it because I don't want to, you know, get rid of that detail that's on it. So hopefully you guys can see that. So I've wrapped it around the leg here. And now I'm just kind of going back and making sure that I push all my little leaves down. Now is the time to kind of get it where you want it to go. Get rid of some of this extra glue where it slid down. I'm going to wipe just a little bit of that back. And this glue will go on white, but it will dry clear. So. And again, for, you know, for you guys that are bakers out there, you can use these molds for your crust, you know, to make decorative crusts. So just don't use them, you know, for both. One or the other. Okay, that is on. It's holding for now. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do one more. I'm going to do one of these little flowers. And we're going to add them to our vine. So again, this is heirloom roses. And it has some cute little things on it. It has some little buds. It has some leaves and some little flowers. I'm not sure if those are roses, but I think I'm going to do this flower this time. Okay. So first thing, you want to make sure you dust your print. So that your clay will release well. And I'm going to kind of dump off the excess. I'm going to take my clay. You know, you just kind of have to, you know, you're never going to know how much to grab, y'all. So just grab as much as you think you'll need. And can you guys see this? Hopefully you can. I can't. The light is making me not be able to see. And I'm going to close this back up. Because I do not want my clay to dry out. Okay. So I got this little rose right here dusted. So I'm going to take my clay and just kind of, you know, wad it up now. And then I'm just going to put it in here and start to press it in. And I can already see that that was a lot more than I needed. But that's okay. Just press it in. Make sure you press it in firmly so you can get a good, a really good imprint of what you're trying to, what you're trying to get. And then I'm going to take this card like I did a few minutes ago, and I'm just going to kind of take off some of the excess. And I want to take it down to this little rim. So, really it just needs to be really even with that rim. And using a card is really a good way. You can use your fingers. It just seems like the card is a little bit better. So I'm gonna put my excess clay. So I have like this much clay left over, and I'm gonna put it back in this bag because I can use it for something else. As long as I keep that bag sealed up and tight, the clay will stay moist. So I got it in right here. So I'm just gonna peel it back and pull it out. And there we go. Isn't that cute? Can you guys see that? Cute little rose. Okay. Well, I say a rose. I'm not sure if it's a rose or not. I'm not sure if that's a rose. But anyway, that's how easy and quick that was. So, okay, so now, again, I'm just going to take my glue. And again, you don't have to be too terribly, soft with it. But, it does have a lot of detail. Can you guys see all that detail there? It has a lot of detail. And so, you want to make sure that you're not crushing any of that detail. So I'm going to take my glue, put it on. And that should be enough. And I'm just going to take my fingers, spread it out all over. And there's several glues, y'all. I just have this glue on hand, and it seems to work pretty well. I haven't had any problems with it, so try to get all the way to the edges. Okay, so there we are. I'm going to move my table over. So hopefully you guys can see. Let me find the top of my flower here. So I got the glue all on the back. So I'm going to put the flower right here, I believe. And I'm just going to lightly press it against, with a really light finger. I'm going to lightly press it. I'm going to sit it down on the vine that I just put on here. And then I'm just going to lightly press it against the leg of my table. Trying not to distort the image that's on it. I'm just going to lightly press it in. All the way around. And in the middle. And try to let it sit so that it will catch grip. Then I'm going to go back just for a second, and I'm going to, the vine that I put on, I'm just going to again go around and kind of touch some of the little limbs and make sure that I got them all pressed down to the leg of the table. And there we go. So that looks pretty good. I hope you guys can see that. So I'm just going to continue going up the leg here. I won't do that tonight, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys how fun it is to use these little molds and this little clay. So it really is kind of fun. And so what I'll do is I'll let this sit for 24 hours overnight for the molds to dry, for the clay to dry. And then I'll take some paint and I will actually, you know, put some color on them. So I'll actually add some color to it. Okay, so the top of our table is almost dry. Almost. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to, yeah, it still has a little ways to go. It's still kind of tacky. So I'm going to get out my my little blower, and I'm going to see if I can speed that process up, and then we can start on the decoupage, and I'll show you guys how to do the iron-on method for the decoupage. Okay, so let me grab my my little blower. Unfortunately, I already have my extension cord hooked up. So, see if we can get a little bit of, see if we can speed up the drying time on this table. And y'all, polyacrylic typically dries pretty fast, but it does depend on the temperature of your room. So, and again, if anybody's just jumping on, any of these products that you see me use, you can find those on my website at pecanporchboutique.com. And if there's other people that you think might enjoy what you're seeing tonight, please chug the love and pass it along. Let's see if I can get this dry so that I can show you guys the decoupage process. It's getting there. Okay, y'all, I think it's pretty dry. All right, I think that's pretty dry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unplug that. And so what I'm gonna be doing tonight, y'all, is going to be the, let me come back around here so you can see me for a moment. What I'm going to be doing tonight is going to be the iron-on method for decoupage. There's a couple methods you can use. One is, my little flower is trying to slip. And it'll do that until it actually catches on and starts to sit. So there's a couple methods you can use when you're decoupaging. You can actually decoupage with, you know, just, you know, by laying down the product and putting your decoupage on by hand. Or you can use the iron-on method. And that's what I'm going to show you guys tonight. I'm going to be using this little hanger heat sealing iron to show you guys the, let me go back a little, to show you guys the iron-on method. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in so it can be getting hot. And while we wait for it to get hot, we're going to go ahead and prep our paper. Okay, so we're going to be using, again, this is the part of Roycycle Treasures decoupage paper, and this one is called Queen Bee. And so we're going to be using this one to decoupage on top here. So now when I lay it up on top of the dresser, you guys, you can see that it, you know, it's not quite the same length or width, but we're going to fix that. So the first thing that I'm going to do, because it's not the same, you know, I have to decide. So there are times where you're going to have to decide what part of the decoupage paper you want to get in your picture. So for me, I want to make sure that I get these flowers in here, because they'll go with the flowers that I'm putting on the leg. I want to get this crown part here, and I also want to get at least 1 or 2 of these bees. So I'm going to start it about right here. So this is what I'm going to get. From here up is what I'm going to get on my paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors right now, and I'm just going to take off this this little excess, so I don't have to be bothered with working with it while I am decoupaging. Just going to take my scissors and cut some of it off. And y'all, when you cut these papers, you know, don't, and I know I'm not cutting straight. I cannot cut straight to save my life. My sister hates when I cut anything, especially fabric, because I will mess up a roll of fabric. But when you're using these, don't throw away these little pieces, because you know you can use these for other little things, other little small projects that you might be working on. So I'll keep this. And so now this is what I have. And again, it's still not, you know, it's not exact, but we'll fix that. So one thing I want to do though, see where these edges are really straight right here? So I don't want to have a straight edge on the end. So I want to have like to have a more organic look. So what I'm going to do is to remedy that, I am going to take this little cardboard here, just so I don't, the cardboard is just so I don't mess up so I don't get water on the table. And then I'm going to take a little cup of water, just plain water in this little cup, and my little Frenchy round French tip brush here. And I'm going to kind of make kind of an organic line with this water around the edge of this, so that I don't have that straight edge on the end. Okay, so, and I learned this when I first started decoupaging from some of the other ladies that were doing decoupage, and I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't want that straight edge. Okay, so I'm just going to dip it in this water, get my brush wet on the end, and I'm just going to kind of, you know, flow around the edge of this piece, tracing along with the water. Just like that, to get the paper wet. Okay? And then what I'm going to do, now I've got that edge wet, so what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to, where I traced it with the water, I'm just going to peel it back. It's kind of like a wet tear. All along where I've traced it with the water, just peeling it off. Just like that. So can you guys see now? So now, rather than that straight edge, I have this kind of organic jagged edge here. Okay, so I'm going to do that on the other side too. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the paper didn't go all the way out to the end. Had it gone all the way out to the end, I wouldn't have done that. I would have just been able to shave it off on the ends. But since it didn't, and I don't want that straight line, I'm using this method. So again, I'm just gonna do the same thing I did on that side. Just gonna take the water and do some tracing. to make a trace line. There we go. And then I'll move this water out of the way because I am bound to spill it. Then now I'm just gonna, again, I'm gonna, where I trace it at, I'm just gonna take and I'm just gonna peel it away. And there we go. So now what I have is, rather than that straight line, that straight edge that I have this organic torn line. Can you guys see that? Right along the edge there. Okay? So what I'm going to do now, again, we put a top coat of sealer over the top. And I probably need to do a second coat, but I'm going to try to get by with doing one coat. We'll see. So now I'm just going to lay this down. I'm going to kind of place it where I want it. And again, y'all know this is Trainwreck Wednesday, so I probably should do 2 coats on the top. And so rather than me taking a chance, let me just go ahead and do another quick coat, and I'll just use my my little dryer to dry it up real quick, because I really want to show you guys this and I don't want to mess it up. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my polyacrylic again, put it in my little bowl just like we did last time. I'm going to go ahead and do a second coat, just for giggles. Because I want to make sure I have enough product for the paper to stick. Because if I don't, then Trainwreck Wednesday will really go off the rails pretty quick. So I'm just going to put another really quick coat on. Not too much. Okay, that should do it. Let me make sure to see if I have any drips, and I do. I want to catch those before they set in. Otherwise, you'll be trying to dig them off. And we don't want to do that. Okay. Now I'm going to plug my little, well, first thing I'm going to do is let me check my little mold again. So it seems to be setting up pretty good. I do have a lot of extra glue here where it has slid. And that's just because, you guys, it's you know, I'm working in this, because it's straight up, so it's gravity is pulling it downward. If it were something that were laying flat, you know, you wouldn't have to worry about that, but that's okay. All right, so let me plug my little heat tool back in, and let's see if we can go ahead and dry this up real quick. So this shouldn't take but a minute. And again, you know, polyacrylic typically dries pretty quick, but it does depend on um, the atmosphere wherever you are. And the reason why I like polyacrylic, I like it because you can get it in the matte finish. And I'm not really big on shiny finishes, although there are some times that, you know, if you're doing a modern piece, you may want something that's a little more shiny. But I'm typically a matte finish kind of girl, so polyacrylic is my go-to. But if you guys remember the chair that we painted on our last Train Wreck Wednesday, I did use the DIY Big Top, which is also a top coat, and it actually has a little bit more of a saggy finish. So I did use that for the chair. It's getting there, y'all. This is a good little heat tool. I got it off of Amazon. And you know, the mailman knows to stop by my house every day because he usually has something for me from Amazon. And if you guys have any questions and I don't catch them, I'll catch them afterward. I just want to make sure that I get this as dry as possible before we do our next step. Okay. All right, you guys, looks like we got there. Okay, that wasn't too terrible, hopefully. All right, so let me plug my heat tool, my heating iron, my sealing iron in again. Y'all, if I ever blow up during one of these lives, it's because I got so much stuff plugged up. It's not even funny. Okay, so I'm plugging my iron back in, you guys. Here's my iron. I'm plugging it back in, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on over on the highest setting right here. I'm going to let it sit for just a second while it warms up. It doesn't take but a minute to warm up. And then we're going to go ahead and get our decoupage paper in place. So again, this is the Queen Bee paper, and that is kind of my inspiration for this whole piece here. So we got this all dry with 2 coats of polyacrylic. I'm going to go ahead and get my paper down here, and I'm going to kind of place it where I want it. And this is kind of where I want it. So this is the image that I will get in my this is what I'm going to get. So remember, I cut off a little piece on the end here, and this is what I got. So what I'm going to do is now, after you get your piece all sealed up, painted and sealed and dried, I'm going to take some of this parchment paper, and that's what I'm going to use for to lay it down here to protect the piece from the iron. So I'm just going to roll off some of this parchment paper. And it just rolled off. All right, it rolled right off the table. Okay, So we're going to use the parchment paper here as our barrier between the decoupage paper, so that we don't, we don't want to lay the iron directly on the decoupage paper. So this parchment paper is a barrier or a protector for the decoupage paper. All right. How long have we been on, y'all? I can never tell like how long I've been on. Does anybody know how long I've been on? Can you tell? If so, put it in there for me, please, because I can't tell. Okay, like I said, this iron heats up really quick, and this is the little heat sealing iron that I'm going to be using. So I got my, so just to recap what we did to the top here, it has been painted with 2 coats of crinoline, DIY's crinoline, and then we're using the Queen Bee decoupage paper. But before we put the decoupage paper down, I sealed it with 2 coats of polyacrylic, and then I put this parchment paper on top of the polyacrylic, and 1 hour. Okay, thank you. We're almost done. So then I put this parchment paper on top of the polyacrylic, and now I'm going to use this heat sealing iron to adhere it to the top of the table. Okay, so once I have my paper in place where I want it, put the parchment paper down, and we're just going to iron. And again, make sure that the parchment paper is over every part of your decoupage paper, because you don't want the iron to come in contact with your paper. And this iron gets really hot, y'all. And again, this is the iron-on method. I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way. This is the iron-on method of decoupage. You could easily lay it down with your hands. But I just wanted to show you guys the iron-on method. With the iron-on method, you don't get as many wrinkles or bubbles. Kind of a more cleaner look, even though I don't mind the wrinkles or the bubbles. But it's an option, right? Everybody likes options. So this is just another option. And you're gonna get some wrinkles even with the iron on. But typically you kind of let the wrinkles sit a while and they'll go away. Because once we get this all ironed down, we still have to come back and put on a top coat. So that's going to give you a little bit more wrinkles too. But wrinkles are okay. Okay, can you guys see that? So now the paper is adhered to the desk, so I can't pull up this part. But over here, I can still pull up this part. So you just keep doing that all over the paper. Try to make sure you get every inch of where the paper is. And one thing, you guys, about these decoupage sheets, when you get them, they're going to come with a natural fold where it's been folded, during shipping. But when you press down with the iron, you should definitely be able to get that fold out. And also for some of us retailers like myself, I ship the papers in packages, so you'll get another light fold. But again, you should be able to press those out, even if you're doing it by hand, even if you're not using the iron. So So, and again, you may get some wrinkles, but that's okay. And my paper actually got wet right here, so I do have a few more wrinkles than I would have had it not gotten wet. And it didn't get wet here. It got, during this slide, it got wet when I had it over there on the table. But that's okay. Again, this is Trainwreck Wednesday, y'all. So, I'm just continuing. Can you guys see me? I'm just continuing to move the parchment paper and iron over my whole surface. And this is a really cool little iron, although I don't think you can get it anymore on Amazon, but any iron will do. You know, even your iron at home. You just put it on its highest setting, don't use any steam, and do this same process. All right, looks like we got there maybe. Let's see. Yep, I think we did, you guys. There's a couple places that look like it might need some attention. And a lot of people, you know, they really freak out with the whole, you know, the whole wrinkle thing. It doesn't bother me. But, you know, if you want a really smooth finish, the iron-on method is probably your best bet. Alright. Let's see, we did it. So it's stuck here too, you guys. Well, right there looks like it needs a little bit more attention. And if there's places where it didn't, you know, adhere really well, just go back with your parchment paper. That's why I wanted to make sure I got 2 coats of that polyacrylic on top, because you really do need that product, enough of that product for it to adhere well. It might have done it with 1, but I didn't want to take a chance. All right. I think it's pretty good, you guys. And again, I have some wrinkles here, but I'm okay with that, because what I'm going to do also is I'm going to build on this. I am going to take some of the transfers that you saw me hold up a few minutes ago from the Iron Orchids Painterly Roses transfer. And I'm going to actually build onto this, this decoupage paper. So that's another thing. You can layer things too when you're using these products. You know, you're not limited to just one layer of something. And so that is my plan. Turn this iron down and unplug it. That thing gets hot. So be careful if that's the iron you get. That thing gets really hot. Okay, you guys, so here we go. So we have this iron down now. So basically what I'm going to do, now that I have it all ironed down, what I'm going to do for this, this edge here is I'm just going to take some sandpaper. Usually I would take my sanding block, but I used it the other day when I was working on the chair, and so it still has paint on it. So I'm just going to take this, this sandpaper here, and I'm going to work out from the paper. You don't want to go back that way, because then you'll mess up your paper. So you're gonna work away from your paper. I'm just gonna go across the edge. Really lightly, because it doesn't take much. Because I think this piece is really rough. It might be like a 60 grit. So it's not gonna take much. And there we go. I have a nice clean edge. And then I have little pieces here on the back that I need to shave off as well. And see how quickly this goes. It doesn't take very long at all, either with the sanding block or with your sandpaper. Okay, there we go. So this came out pretty good, don't you think? Kind of tip it down toward you a little bit. So that's the product, the Roycycle Decoupage papers. That's Queen Bee. And so what I'm going to do, I think, so again, the paper wasn't wide enough to go across the whole piece, but I think I'm going to take some pieces out of this transfer, because there's some more florals in here, like these. And I'm going to build on top of this, especially where these, where the paper didn't fit. And then I'm also going to continue with my moles on the front legs of this piece. And my plan is to kind of bring them up and kind of around here on each side. And then put some paint on them. And trying to make sure they stay in place. And so when these dry, and I usually let these dry for about 24 hours. And then I'll go back and I'll paint them. So so that's it, you guys. So we have done today, we have done, we've talked about moles, and we've talked about decoupage, the iron-on version. And so I will go back and I will finish this up, maybe over on my YouTube channel, and then I will post the, either that or on my Facebook page, and I will post the finished project. So again, thank you guys for joining me, for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And again, if you guys are looking to do your own project, please go over and take a peek at my website at pecanporchboutique.com. Thanks you guys for hanging out with me. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.